live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, let's talk about LeBron's support of CP3 in his pursuit of his first championship in his 16-year career.
16 years.
I'll let you start, Step, because I know how you feel about LeBron.
Wait, don't do that. We know how I feel about LeBron, the basketball player.
The basketball player.
And we know how I feel about LeBron, the person.
Right, right.
And this is the LeBron, the person we're talking about right now. So don't do that. Okay.
Nah, I'm just picking.
Yeah, don't do that. Like, okay. So, but I love this from him. I wouldn't expect anything different, honestly, from him. It is so beautiful to see a superstar, because he doesn't have to say anything. He is the best player out there right now, period. He is. And so he doesn't have to be supportive or respond, or he could just be quietly supporting him. But I love that he's been like in the spotlight, showing that his support is there for Chris Paul in this moment. And it's so big for him. And I'm so excited for him. And just, I love the brotherhood, that it's something about those, like, rest in peace, Kobe. But that group, like, it's something about how they have just really held each other up, no matter where they were or where they played. They've just, him, Dwayne, Kobe, CP3, like, they've just held up. There's a brotherhood. There's a sincere brotherhood there. And that's what you see, a brother, like, rooting for his brother. And I love this. I love this story. I love that he did it. I love that he's there for him. And I hope that it's been a situation where he could go to him and ask him questions, because he's never been there. Right? Like, well, what is it? Because he's been there a lot. Yeah, what is this like? What does this feel like? Right? So what does this feel like? What is this? You know, so I'm just uber proud of the individual, the human that LeBron James is, and his support. And I wholeheartely stand behind him in supporting CP3 to go ahead and win this thing.
Trav, you go ahead. I'm gonna take this from a different angle. So you go ahead, Trav. Let me.
I'm all for it, man. I appreciate LeBron's growth, man. He's a guy that we've witnessed, you know, from 18 years old get to this point, 36, and doing it without a father figure, you know what I mean? Like, without a father in the home, learning it on the fly, dealing with the burden of success, like, to be crowned, something before you actually become something, and dealing with all of that, watching him grow, man, watching him handle the media, deal with it. People looked at The Last Dance, right? The little Jordan documentary, and was like, this is why Jordan's the GOAT. This is why Jordan's better than so-and-so. To me, I saw The Last Dance, and I saw Jordan tired. He was like, I had to walk away from the game because I couldn't deal with the media. And it wasn't like he was dealing with social media. He was just dealing with regular stuff. You know what I mean? Cameras always in his face. And so, like, LeBron deals with a whole lot more than Jordan ever had. You know what I mean? And he's done it for so many years. You know what I mean?
With grace.
So it's just like, we watched this kid go from 18 to 36, and it's just like, I just appreciate his level of maturity off the court, how he has his inner circle. Like, y'all not going to be lazy around me. Y'all going to all go, I'm going to empower you to go be great so we can become a team. And he kind of let it be known when, how you going to look at us when Phil Jackson referred to his, his crew as like a posse or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they let him know, like, hey, look, this not going to go down this way. And then they started actually flexing their muscle. So basically, he pretty much put together the blueprint on how you want to build your brand, how you want to build your team. And so, for me, him showing signs of, showing love to CP3, I think it's dope, because I think LeBron reached a point to where he's letting people know, like, yo, it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, being Like, I'm not a professional champion, anything like that, but after winning 3 state titles, I kind of understand, bro. It's not that serious. To watch how these parents kind of go and they talk and they gossip and they this and that and they throw shade. They want to, like, so many people want to see you fail. Like, at the end of the day, bro, it's just high school football. At the end of the day, it's just professional basketball. I'm going to support my homie because he's worked at this thing for years. He's very deserving of a championship. So I'm gonna show love, man. So, kudos to LeBron, man, and his level of maturity. I think he probably was more relieved than anything to be exited out the playoffs early. He's played so many games, bro. People don't realize how long, man.
Yeah.
Listen, coaching high school football and making it a state game 3 years, like every year.
That's a lot.
And that quick turnaround and come right back, and coach is like, all right, y'all, it's February. I'm like, bro, we just finished, man. We gotta keep that in. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, people don't understand, like, to be a champion, it is a mental, emotional grind. So for him to handle that for so many years with so much grace, man, without too many scandals or anything like that, man, kudos to him.
Without none.
He's an excellent example. He got his family, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not perfect or whatever, but hey.
Who is?
Who is, man? He's out there handling it with grace. And shout out to him for showing love to the comedian who was doing the skits. Like, just seeing that kind of stuff. Like,
RDC World.
Love, like, yo, I salute you, homie. And that kid has been grinding for, he said he's been making videos for 4 years.
For years,
To finally meet LeBron and LeBron know his work and to shout him out and dap him up. That made his day.
Just humble. Just humble. Just humble. He's a humble spirit. Like, he really is.
LeBron, one of them dudes that we gonna miss once it's over and done, and once it takes some people to do a documentary on him to realize how we treated him throughout this whole journey. Like, we really OD. Like, like, they went like hard on this dude for no reason, man. Skip Bayless did an excellent job of painting a picture of this, making this guy seem like he's not great, he's not clutch, and profited off of this man's name. Skip Bayless got millions of dollars on waking up every morning and telling people why LeBron's not great. He owes LeBron some kind of money. You know what I mean? But have something LeBron is showing people.
And again, LeBron is working in his purpose, so he don't care.
So once you realize that, man,
whatever. He like, oh, okay, all right.
He's like, I got this.
So what's your point, Jarrett?
I beat Golden State, and I'm still not to go. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and do whatever I want to do. Let me go to LA and figure it out. We're gonna make movies or something.
All right, so where you at, Jarrett? Where you at?
Everyone who watches the show knows how I feel about LeBron.
Yes.
And so I don't even want to speak about it from that angle because we already know who he is, and we know that this is consistent with the LeBron that we've seen, honestly, since he stepped foot in the NBA. The route I want to take from this, right? And it was because of something that I heard, and it wasn't necessarily in reference to LeBron's support of CP3, but it was kind of around the idea of players being friends and how the older players in the NBA, they weren't friends and they wouldn't do something like this. They wouldn't publicly support, a competitor, right?
No, they would not.
And I just think that's disingenuous, right? And one of the people I heard talk about this, that, kind of seeing his position on this, helped me formulate my ideas on this, is that the players, like the 90s players, the players who were considered to be in that golden age of the NBA.
Not the golden age, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and that's what they call it. They called the 90s basketball the golden age.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, what they attempted to make it seem like is that the players weren't friends. They didn't hang out. They weren't buddy. And so they used that as a way to kind of delegitimize the players of this generation, right? Mm-hmm. It all goes under that idea of calling them soft and calling them,
whatever.
Right. So
evolved human beings, you mean? Oh, right.
Okay. And listening to Gilbert Arenas talk about this really put it in perspective for me, because he was like, you talk about how these players train together now, and they're all buddy. But he was like, what's the difference between LeBron and KD going at each other in the gym and training together, and you guys being on the golf course, you know what I'm saying, hitting balls
in the
together,
off season.
or in the off season, or Jordan before a playoff game. I guess he had went to a bar, or he was gambling, with Charles Barkley.
I was gonna say, he was in somebody's casino, honey.
Right. And he was like, what's the difference of that? He said, and it's what it really is, and I won't get too deep into that part because that part really doesn't translate to what I'm talking about. But I think that LeBron has showed us that you can be a competitor, right? And you can be competitive. You can push it as hard as you can. But my life is going to be about more than just what I've done on this basketball court.
Absolutely. I'm more than the sport.
And one of the things that I saw LeBron do, and initially I didn't know how I felt about it, but when he got into that altercation with Rondo, CP3, when he got into that altercation with Rondo a couple of years ago, and Rondo and CP3 came to blows, LeBron went and got CP3 and pulled him out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because it turned into a whole thing. Like, then Brandon Ingram, you know what I'm saying, was ready to jump in and throw some punches. And, it turned into one big whole thing. But in that moment, you saw that, okay, these are my teammates, and I want to stop this from going on, but this is one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And forget this basketball stuff. And it's funny because people criticize LeBron for that, right? But nobody criticized Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, for doing the same thing with Marcus Peters when Marshawn Lynch was in Oakland and Marcus Peters was in Kansas City. He went over there and grabbed him immediately and was like, nah, this is my little cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not jumping on him. We not doing none of that. And so when I see stuff like that, I see that, this life is bigger than this game. And I'm glad that LeBron could show that even in the midst of, even in the midst of his detractors trying to use that as fuel to say why this game is soft.
Yeah, right. No, it's good stuff.
It's funny, like, watching old school basketball, like, a lot of those guys were so unathletic. You had to be tougher because you wasn't out there dribbling. You wasn't out there jumping. Like, bro, I'm just a 6'6" dude who can, I'm a little bit bigger than everybody else. I'm not a high flyer, but if somebody come down to the lane and I got to throw an elbow, I'm going to do that. Because I really ain't. Like, the way these guys are now, you just look at KD, man, at their height and what he can do and how he does it. These guys are freak of nature these days. So, the days of how 90s basketball players were built and athletic ability, bro, I'm just here. I got 6 fouls, bro. Make these joints count. I'm gonna go to the bar and grab me a beer afterwards. Right. I'm here to hurt people. So that's why they were tougher, because they really couldn't do anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion of it, man. So I just know when I look at NBA, when they used to show NBA Hardwood Classic, bro, there was a lot of unathleticism out there on that court, man.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. All right.
What happened? You upset about that?
Yeah, I'm all good. Go ahead. Listen, y'all got it.
Well, that and I promise we're gonna transition right now. But when I was looking at that video of what Gilbert Arenas was talking about, that was kind of one of the things he said. He was like, the players today are way more skilled than the players were back in the day, and he said that's because of evolution. What happened is that those players saw the greats and they said, well, let me go try to do this. Let me add to it. Because people talked about how Michael Jordan got to the gym 3 hours before the game. Kobe heard that and was like, well, I'm going to get there 4 hours before the game. You know what I'm saying? And now you got some of these players who are getting to
Steph Curry
the arena
5, 6 shots a day.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the game is just going to continue to evolve. You know what I'm saying? It's going to continue to evolve. And so I won't even get into the older
Yeah, we
players.
could get, I mean, we could go deep into
Right.
every topic we talk about, like, really.
Right. Now, but we need to get to this next one because in light of some of the stories. No, it's not fun. It's crazy though. It's real life crazy. So Ron Bell, former friend of Georgia Tech basketball player Josh Pastner, was convicted of orchestrating the false accusation of sexual assault against a woman who turned out to be his girlfriend. So to explain it plainly for you, Ron Bell was friends with Georgia Tech basketball player Josh Pastner. Ron Bell used his girlfriend to make false accusations of sexual assault on his friend Josh Pastner. And thankfully, the truth came out, and it wasn't a thing of someone was being falsely accused of, sexual misconduct.
So he's been convicted in Arizona.
Yeah.
Ron Bell just got convicted in Arizona. 2 counts of solicitation of influence of witness, 2 counts of attempted tampering with the witness, false information, and facilitation of fraud, scheme, and practice.
Wow, what was his motivation behind this? What was he doing?
It would be interesting to know, right? I would love to know. I hope that at some point we get that answer, Travis, because the only thing I can think of, the boy was playing basketball. Maybe he thought he was going to the NBA, and that would have been a way to kind of blackmail him almost into like paying this girl off.
Right.
So that didn't come out. Because outside of that, I really, because if you see, because I don't even like saying it was his friend, because you weren't his friend.
Yeah, you can't possibly be his friend.
You weren't his friend. So I don't really know what was going on. I don't know if you were jealous. I don't know what it was, but it just was the craziest story, because being a Georgia girl, Georgia Tech alum, I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? What happened? So this was back in 2016 when all of this went down, but it's now he's being convicted because the truth has finally kind of come out around this about what really happened. And I just think it's psycho. Assault. Something's wrong with him.
He was accusing him of sexual assault.
Yeah, that's what they were accusing him of. Yes, sexually assaulting her in a hotel room in February of 2016.
That right. That this story should have been right behind the whole due process thing, man. Because you got some crazies out there who really out here, setting people up, and it's something about cancel culture and sexual assault where it's almost one of those things where you're guilty until proven innocent, and even when you're proven innocent, nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? So it's man.
Your story has to be, and it's one of those things where the lines are blurry and it's murky, right? And your story has to be the equivalent of a Brian Banks or a Marcus Dixon to get true vindication, right? Where you hear that this thing was totally made up and we actually have the person on the line saying, yeah, I made this up. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because women who are true victims of sexual assault have to be looked at in a way because of some of these false allegations that are made.
Because I'm wondering why the girlfriend ain't going to jail. Because that's the part. When do these women who make these false accusations get charged with something?
Yeah,
When do they when does that happen? This girl, so I'm reading more on this as you're talking. And they said she called the police on May 8th of 2019 and said that he sexually assaulted her in a hotel room in Memphis while he was coaching at Memphis.
Right.
And then they had one of the security guards from Georgia Tech lie and say that while he was at Georgia Tech, he witnessed this man like inappropriately touch her. Y'all went through a lot. So he get Ron Bell good, he going to jail, you should. But what's gonna happen to her and the security guard? because this is what this is not right.
I don't know that
you messing with a man's livelihood. Stop.
I don't know that anything is going to happen to her, you know, and
why not?
That question is a deep one, you know what I'm saying? And it's one that I want to take my time before like responding to, because I think that maybe deterring like these, you know, false accusation claims, I think that charging a woman for this, even though I believe it will, you know, stop some of these false accusations, I also believe that it will stop women who were truly abused from stepping up.
I see what you mean.
And believing that, you know, they receive ridicule or backlash for not being able to actually prove that they were sexually assaulted.
But I guess the thing is, not being able to prove that you were sexually assaulted is still different than being able to prove that you falsely accused somebody.
Well, who's going, because a lot of these sexual assaults things are your word versus my word.
Mm-hmm.
How can we really ever prove it?
Oh, I mean, I see it, but I see it. I feel like it's just, I don't know. It pisses me off. It pisses me off, and I don't like it. And I'm a female. I don't like it. I don't because there are, like you said, there are people who are true victims, and this is not right. Like just
Right.
don't. Woo. So I got your answer, Travis. By the way, why he did this? Because he felt slighted in their friendship.
Oh, get out of here, bro. Ain't that much beef in the world, bro.
You are a weak individual, sir.
Yeah.
That you need this man. What you need him to do for you?
Let me set up Jarrett, because he had more muscles than I did in college, bro. I'm out here beefing with Burgess, man.
Hilarious.
So silly, So I just wanted to talk about this because I thought it was crazy, but we can go on. This was just crazy.
And I think in this climate, it's important to highlight these things because I'm not a fan. Lord, I know this is gonna get me killed. I'm not a fan of the hashtag believe all women, right? Because there are instances where my thing is believe all truth. You know what I'm saying? Because to put it out there, believe all women, you are laying the foundation for something like this to occur.
Yeah.
Because if we just
they need to add something to the believe all women. Believe all women that are telling the truth.
Right.
Believe all women that are telling the truth. Because because you do need to, and initially you do need to have a mindset, because it's such a serious thing. You gotta have a mindset of, okay, well, I'm gonna just take who? Because in my mind, I'm sorry, I'm not a real karma person, but I'm thinking, who wants to put themselves in a situation to lie about something like that and then have to face the consequences of that?
Right.
Like what?
Right.
What are you crazy? So you gotta feel in your head like, surely she's not lying. Who would do that? But they exist.
Yeah.
Alas, they exist.
And
it's funny. I've always wanted to kind of know more about the Myron Rolle and Amanda Seales situation. You know what I'm saying? She kind of accused him of doing something, and he was just like, nah, that didn't happen that way. And for her to be a person of such, influence and fame, nothing really happened.
Yeah.
After. Like she kind of just got a chance to recant her statement, but like, yo, that wasn't the same energy you had when you put it out there that this dude,
about to ruin this man's life. Exactly.
Yeah. Like
the accusation is always going to be louder than the apology.
Of course, man. Like, and so for me, I'm a person who's like, oh my God, I'm such a fan of such a man. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, because I read up on this and that and the third, and that's something I just can't brush off, because what if that was me? You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of way. And me being big, like me being a coach and me being a former ball player, like,
Nobody
man,
got time for crazy.
Yeah.
like nobody's not trying to hear me preach and try to prove my innocence, man. So, and even if they do prove me innocent, that's just gonna be on the bottom of the ticker, and if that's not gonna be
Yeah.
where they're gonna do a whole story on me to say, hey, coach and so is innocent. This nah, bro. It's just bottom of the ticker.
No, that's not
that.
that.
Innocent, all charges dropped, da 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 da. And that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.